Hi Jane, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Maybe you could just kick off with a brief introduction to this film. Of course, everyone's very familiar, particularly with the original Predator film and perhaps the sequels, but this is something a little bit different. So what can people expect?
I think people won't know what to expect. I think it's a nice surprise because this film was built to stand on its own. It's, Dan Trachtenberg, who you just saw, he thinks outside of the box. He took the film back 300 years, so it's more of a historical depiction, but it hits with the Comanche Nation at the height of their empire. So I think people aren't really ready for that. Plus, it's a new way to see cultural authenticity and representation.
One of the things I love most about it is that it kind of strips away all the technology, all these other aspects. It kind of takes it back to the core idea of the Predator.
Yes.
And like you said, kind of is as much about the kind of this tribal community as it is about the Predator himself. So was that also something important for you to bring to the fore?
Absolutely, because I'm Comanche. I'm from Oklahoma, and I'm an enrolled member of the Comanche Nation. So that was really important to get an accurate depiction. I usually don't like to do period films because when you do period, the natives are like maybe misrepresented because they don't put enough time into research or getting the right people on there to make everything correct. So this was really great because I got to do everything 110%, and that 10% it was put into the Comanche language in post-production.
And tell us about working with Amber. I mean, she is a force to be reckoned with in this film. How did you discover her, and how did you work with her? How did you feel to see her performance?
I've known Amber since she was a young girl, very, very young, younger than what she is now. But she's friends with my daughters, and she's been at my house. I even taught her how to powwow dance, which was amazing. So I didn't know that because of the pandemic, she had auditioned in 2020, and then I came on at the end of 2020, so we both didn't know. And then I said, I have this project and I think that you'd be perfect for it. And then Dan was like, you have to look at this girl, and he sent me the tape, and it's Amber. And I'm like, and then I called her and I said, guess who's producing on your project? She goes, oh my God. And well, it wasn't her project yet, but she had to land it. So it was kind of exciting for us to actually work together.
And it feels like it's become slightly a cliche, like a strong female character, but I feel like it's very relevant in this case. There's a great line where one of the guys says to her, you tried, but you didn't land it, and kind of having to constantly kind of be faced with being underestimated and having to fight back. So we don't see it enough on our screen. So is it really refreshing to have films like this?
It's absolutely refreshing, and that was her brother Tabe that said that to her because he felt he just had become the war chief, so now he's feeling his oats. But I think what's really important is this is a huge franchise, 35 years old, and we've never had a woman lead. And so now we have a female hero lead, and not only is she a female hero lead, she's Native American. So, that really sets the bar high, for this franchise. It's so exciting to be here tonight and to be in London and to be able to, promote this film. And the fact that it's on Disney Plus is a big plus because it's also in the Comanche language. We have a complete Comanche dub. So if you saw it only in the theater, you wouldn't be able to you'd be seeing it one time and in English. But because it's on Disney Plus, you can hit the tile for Comanche and watch it in the Comanche language. That's never happened before for my tribe. When you shoot a film that's 98% outside, there are some challenges, but we shot on the Stoney Nakoda Reserve up in outside of Calgary in Alberta, Canada, and they were really nice because we have a predominantly Native cast and we have a woman Native lead and woman Native producer. They sent over 2 pipe carriers and they did a blessing, a special ceremony for us called a pipe ceremony. So we had 2 of their pipe carriers and 2 of their smudgemen to do a ceremony the day before we actually started shooting. So that just kind of gave us that extra spirit that we needed. I love being outdoors. We just busted out from the pandemic because when we shot this, we were still in the pandemic. The borders were closed to Canada. So just being outside every day was amazing for me. Everybody loves the Predator because he was one of the first action sci-fi alien creatures, and the fact that he always comes back to hunt, and he's like all of you here in London. He has these codes, and he has codes of honor. So his code is that he won't try to kill anybody that's unarmed easily. The Comanche language and the Comanche content and being a member of the Comanche Nation, that's what really drew me to this, because I don't always like to do period because depictions aren't always great for Native people. We're not depicted as honorable. We're not depicted as, we're the villain or we're the sidekick. We're never the hero. But the fact that this is a franchise movie, 35-year-old franchise movie, that actually has a woman lead, and the woman lead is Native, and better yet, she's Comanche. It means a lot because I grew up on the Predator franchise, and I've watched all the other films, and the women characters have always been secondary. So this is the first time in this 35-year-old franchise that you do have a woman lead, and not only is she a woman, she's a person of color, and she's a Native American woman. I mean, that sets the bar so high, and also it's really empowering for a lot of young Native women. Well, yes, because we shot during the pandemic, so we shot in Canada and the borders were closed, so we were just really kind of to ourselves because we had to keep our bubbles small. But I think it was great because all the core cast had a 5-week training camp, and so they really kind of developed camaraderie and friendships and more worked like a family, because this film depicts a band of Comanches, and most people that were in the band were related, whether by blood or by marriage, and you can kind of see that with the people.